Hi there. In this video, we're going to continue looking at the Unpivot columns function inside of Power Query. To start off with, we're in unpivot columns.xlsx. We're in the duplicate label sheet, and here's our table. So the problem that we have right now is we've got, again, a variation on our Apple taste scores. So we've got three different people, each giving their score, their taste score, for three different varietals or types of apples. The issue that we're running into is that there's two Penelopes, and I want to point out here, Penelope did not vote twice. These are two distinct people that happen to have the same name. So this is going to become a problem when we unpivot it. Now it's not going to look like a problem, but if we were to take it into a pivot table or do some aggregations, it'll be problematic because it's going to think of this Penelope as one person when it is in fact two. So let's just look at that real quickly. I'm going to click on the data table there. I'm going to head up to Power Query, and I'm going to get a data from a table. Get our data from a table. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to click on Pippin, shift click on Brayburn, right click, and unpivot these columns. And I'm going to, just because it's a good have to get into, I'm going to go ahead and rename these. I'm going to call this type, and I'm going to left click, right click, rename. This is going to be score. Okay, so, it didn't throw an error at us. It didn't make an annoying beep, so it looks like everything is going fine. And depending on your business case, maybe this is just fine, but let me show you why this is going to turn into a problem. I'm not going to take it all the way into well, let's go ahead and do that. Actually, let's take it into a pivot table. Let's head to Home. We're going to hit Close and Load. So here's our results. And let's go ahead, left click there, go to Insert, Pivot Table, and click OK. So now if we take name, we take name and score and drag that down there, and we change this from sum to average, we're into this problem where, as far as the pivot table is concerned, there's not three different people, there's only two people. And that's because it doesn't know that both Penelopes are different people. It doesn't care. All it sees is a text string. So let's head over here. Whoops, where are we? Oh, I got a bunch of extra stuff here. So I'm going to delete all this junk that just got in there in between recording these sessions. So I'm going to right click on that, delete the sheet. Don't want that anymore. And here we've got the output of the query. So let's go fix that to make it work. Head back to Apple duplicates. By the way, if you don't want to navigate to it, you can just click on Power Query, Show Pane. This will pop up, and you can right click and hit Edit, open the query. Okay, so how do we get around this? Well, there's a lot of ways to get around it. The short answer is you want to have some sort of key. So I'm going to go ahead, just to simplify this, I'm going to go ahead and delete these steps rather than insert steps. So by key, I just mean that each row has some sort of unique identifier. If you wanted to add their last name, that might work. You could add something complicated. A real easy one that I think works just fine is we're just going to add an index column. So we're going to add index. We're going to go to add column, click on the little drop-down arrow, and we're going to do from 1. Basically, if you're going to use it in code, it's usually better to start with from 0. If you're going to show it to people, it's better to start from 1 because people don't like those zeros. Okay, so I'm going to right-click on this, go down to Move, send this to the beginning. I don't need to, but it's, I don't know, not a bad thing to do. Okay, and now I'm going to change this from index. I'm going to right-click on it and change it from index to person ID. It's really just an index, but we'll call it person ID, and it'll work as that. Okay, so now when in fact, yeah, that works just fine. So, well, let's make this a little more complicated. We're going to, just to make it look really nice in our pivot table, we're going to add a custom column. I'm going to add a custom column. And this, I'm going to call this full name, or extended name, or something like that, or unique name, or key name, or something. Okay, so now we're going to take the person ID, and we're going to concatenate it with the name, which is actually going to throw an error. So if I click OK, we should get an error. The error is because you can't concatenate a number with a text string, so we have to recast this as a text string. Pretty easy to do. We're going to click on the little gear icon. Okay, so I'm going to change this to text.from Okay, close that whole thing in parentheses. So take the person ID, convert it to text, and then concatenate it with name. Click OK. Toshi, ooh, that doesn't look good. Let's do it this way. And text string, let's add a hyphen. I could make this really nice looking, but just so you get the idea of how you might actually do this in the real world. This is a sort of quick and dirty solution. Click on that. Full name. And now I can go to close and load. And oh wait, I forgot to unpivot it. I forgot the most important part. Okay, so I'm going to right click on that, click on move that to the beginning, and I'm going to shift click on Pippin, or click on Pippin, shift click on Brayburn, right click, and do unpivot those columns. I'm going to rename that to type. Right click there to rename this to score. Click enter. Okay, now I can go ahead and close and load. Okay. Again, there's better ways to do this, but this is a solution that works, and it works okay. So now when I click on here and I go to insert and I go to pivot table, click OK. Now I can drag the full name in there and drag the score in there. I'll have to click there, go down to value field settings and change this to average. And I can get the average per person, and it doesn't think that the two Penelopes are actually one person. It counts them as two distinct people by adding that key there. Okay, well, I do hope that was helpful, and I will see you next video.